Alright folks, well I've never really done an unboxing video before, but I'm really excited about this particular thing, so I'm going to try and do something I've never really done before. I'm going to work around the camera and sort of open this up, because when I saw this advertised, I could not help but have it. I recover and repair a lot of motherboards. I think I've probably done about 40 or 50 already, and there's hundreds more left to do. But I couldn't help but want to have this, because PC diagnostics has always been a challenging thing in this world, in the IT industry, because a number of reasons, but there's basically not a lot of technologies out there that do that. And they don't, especially with the older stuff, there was, so many different ways to diagnose it. Unless you had a workbench full of funky tools, you couldn't do it. So this is what I wanted to show off today. This is supposedly a diagnostic suite for old school PC, XT, AT, PS2, you can probably see there, 386 and 486 compatibles. And so I guess this would have been sold PC Probe back in the day, back in what year here, 1990. So Pentiums hadn't even come onto the scene yet. And yeah, so this is supposed to show over 50 vital system parameters: CPU, FPU, BIOS, RAM, EMS, IRQ, DMA, IO. I should probably tell the story one day of how my cousin, on DOS 2.0 or higher, she had a computer that she took it all apart, and when she put it back together, to reload Windows, she'd forgotten about the IRQ settings and DMA settings for the CD-ROM and sound, and they were all jumpers and not well documented. So this is the PC Probe. Comes with a bunch of these dumb terminals. You can tell that they're sort of shunted there, because they just provide a feedback loop back to the computer, and that's, I think, a serial port there. Or it might be video. Yeah, it might be video. And then there's a one for the BNC connector for the network part as well. And it comes with the PC Probe with Virus Plus from Landmark Software, and this is 1991 version 2. And PC Probe on floppies as well. And it looks like a backup copy as well, which is nice. I'll be making additional backup copies and digital copies of that, because I think you could probably make those probe things. And then let's see. Oh, it's inside a little sleeve here. Let's do a little bit of a walkthrough on this. So, PC Probe, Advanced Testing Program for PCs. Landmark Research International Corporation. Let's see here. What do we got here? Table of contents. And all those different systems and things that you can test. It's pretty wild. Oh, look at that. It even mentions different types of motherboard chipsets of the day. I bet you half those don't even exist or are hard to find nowadays. Let's see here. Tests. Major features. Runs on all those. Runs under DOS 2.0 and higher. Landmark system speed test. Easy pull down menus. Uses a keyboard. Supports MDA, Hercules, EJ. Diagnostics can loop log to printer or disk. Fully describes the components: CPU, math, clock, serial, parallel, low-level formats, display VGA graphic images under test, setup program displays and edits CMOS RAM, revitalize data. All right. How it can help you. Whether you're a normal computer user or a highly technical repair specialist, PC Probe can save you hours of worry. Diagnostic tests, what you need, PC Probe. Helps to ensure your computer is functional and is restored to its configuration without missing components. There we go, there's another page there. Computer manufacturer, educator, repair center. Back up the program diskettes because they do wear out. Yep, great advice. 640K base motherboard. I've got one of these in XT, in an XT. You don't need special knowledge. Run it. Read the docs. Always good to read the manual first. PC probe initial screen. Run the floppy. Remote operation. Mouse or keyboard control. Using dialog boxes. Main menu, password protection, change colors. Introduction, load images. Results to printer file if you want to. Digitize an image or capture a video using a frame grabber. Wow, that would have been pretty new technology back in the day. What you can do with pictures if you don't want to create your own. System info, DOS types. Standard I/O addresses and their purposes. RAM contents, mouse access. There's the landmark speed test. That'll be fun to play with. CPU speed, hard drive benchmark. Data throughput rates. Kickstart a dead computer. If your computer is dead and you cannot get it to run Diagnostic and need more help than PC Probe can provide, you're a technician, we recommend that you acquire Landmark's Power on Diagnostic test cards in the Kickstart family. LEDs display the system power and many other options. Results log, test poll, halting and test looping. You can configure PC Probe to run on one or more tests in a repeated loop in one of two ways until the test finishes. System board test checks the circuitry typically found on a system board, sometimes referred to as motherboard. Test failures are displayed on the screen. If enabled, they are sent to the printer or disk file. Tests the real-time clock, CMOS, RAM, math coprocessor, speaker, memory tests, data line tests, integrity of data path out to memory, writing ones and zeros, March test, quick parity test, long parity test, gal row tests, refresh toggle, refresh rates, expanded memory, keyboard tests, I/O card tests and network controllers, DMA registers, parallel port tests, video board and monitor tests, format, write, read, seek. Do not run the test unless you intend to destroy all the data on the drive. Most of the hard drive tests destroy data on the drive. The read and seek tests do not. These tests are ideal to run on brand new MFM and RLL drives. Wow. We don't even mention IDE here on that particular portion. Alright. Funny, the modern manual, I'm just waiting for the French or, Spanish section or something, but that's not going to happen in a book from this era. Not that that's a good thing or that I'm commenting on that, I just think it's funny that my brain's going, just wait, this is only half a manual. Nope. Testing for bad sectors and low-level formats. Hard drive interleaf, park and landing zone. Man, that's been a long time since I remember that stuff. Configuring the memory maps. Type of CMOS RAM. Hard drive manufacturer parameters. Wow, that'll be handy to have. That will be very handy to have. Introduction. BIOS errors during boot and different types. BIOS manufacturers. What do we got here? Landmark. AMI, Award, Phoenix, and Quadtel. Don't see a lot of Quadtels and Landmarks nowadays. Oh, look at this, the block diagram for the PC itself. That's pretty handy, actually. Some diagnostic test things and troubleshooting hints for different chipsets. What else we got here? Loopback plugs. Connectors with internal wiring that connects the output pins to the input pins, thereby looping the outputs and inputs when connected to them. Any data out is received back in, thus verifying the integrity of the computer's data path and signal circuitry and connectors. The plugs won't work properly if the protection devices are installed. Okay. There we go. There's the actual, so you could build your own if you just go and look at that. That's basically how you build your dummy connectors that send data right back in where it went out. So if you find a copy of the software online, all you need is to connect those pins on a dummy piece, and away you go. There's a glossary of terms, which, you know, you can find that on the net nowadays, but that would have been pretty handy to have. An index, and that's it for the Landmark Research International Corporation Diagnostic Kit. And I think that's really kind of neat to see, you know, just something like this. I have to keep a box like this away from magnets, obviously, but it's just exciting. I can't wait to give that a go and use that on my old IBM XT and test everything out, and maybe even test every motherboard that I have, the older types that come through, and make sure that all the input-output is working properly. Also kind of neat, there's still a bit of a serial number from retail there. And yeah, so that is the PC probe for slashing downtime and frustrating operating problems from Landmark. And that's what you get when you would have bought this back in 1990. You would have got this all this stuff. I think a lot of people would have been having fun checking out the speed test and their disk speeds, and as they upgraded to, you know, at saying 9 or 4000 graphics card, or different VLB cards, or even just different monochrome adapters on, you know, AT to 386 or 286, you could check out how fast it was going and make sure that your ports pins were clean, and that it wasn't a printer issue or a, you know, modem issue or something. That you know, this kit would actually help you say, hey, it's my motherboard that's causing a problem, or it's something else. So yeah, PC probe.